Okay.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and I've dispensed with an intro for today because I wanted to express my kind of speechlessness at what has gone on at Lord's over the last day or two. I am joined this morning by gloating Australians, one in his weather cave. And are you in Moonee Ponds, Kat, or are you at home today?
No, I'm at home today. You can tell because I have the lightsaber microphone flashing here. I will try and cover that up.
No, that's all right. We don't mind a bit of lightsaber, and we did see your little dog earlier, but she seems to have disappeared now.
She may come back.
Oh, she is. There she is. If you're watching on YouTube, is that Bobbin? Did you say?
This is Bobbin. Yeah, this is Bobbin.
She's lovely.
She's very cute.
She's really gorgeous. Not quite so gorgeous in his weather cave. In Western Australia, right across the continent, is Messi Jez, and he wrote a very entertaining little piece this morning, another Guerrilla Cricket exclusive, about the crazy things that have been going on at Lord's. I was just reading before I came on air a piece by Vish on Cricinfo about maybe the youngsters are going off piste a little bit. They've been given too much freedom. Is that what it is, Kat? Is that how you see it?
I think they should have as much freedom as they want.
Oh, do you?
Let them do whatever they like.
You're very permissive.
The future belongs to the young.
Oh, does it? No, that's really
the future
distressing.
belongs to the tong.
It belongs to the tongue. Or the tongue, or the ting, or the tong, whatever his name is. We've just been joined on YouTube, I'll just say, by Kevin Collins. Greetings from Moscow. And Superficial says, I'm looking forward to Hendo's thoughts on yesterday. Ian H says, morning all, morning Bobbin, and greetings one and all from the Bartholomew of Haywood. Messi, are you enjoying this as an Australian supporter? Are you beginning to get that? Are you getting to that point where I get that feeling that the Australians are beginning to patronise us, really, in the sense of we wanted more sort of competitive series, and you're just giving your wickets away. I mean, is that how you see it?
Well, there's a bit of that, to be honest, because like I said on the roundup with Jack last night, the one thing we really want is a competitive series. I mean, that one test at Edgbaston was better than the whole of the series in Australia.
Yes.
Last time you were out. And, win or lose, it's not so bad if it's really close.
Exactly.
But there's some sort of nutty switch that's been switched off on people. It was interesting that after the New Zealand series, Brendan McCullum was asked how far Bazball would go, and he said, well, we'll find a line somewhere and we'll know when we've crossed it. Well, I think some of them have crossed it. They've just gone, they've lost the sense that was involved in what they did last year. Because the truth is, for all the fast scoring that was done last year, it was not done in this way all the time.
No.
And, Stokes himself showed that he can bat sensibly without actually going berserk. I just do not know what was going on with them. And Brooke, in particular, decided he wanted to play baseball, not baseball. I think he's just got dyslexia or something, so he misreads baseball for baseball, and he got caught at first base. Just crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's
so
what I think one of the
headlines
headlines
a bit
after that.
expletive on the other day when we were on air, I'm afraid, because it just made me very angry to see people being so silly.
Well, it disappoints me more than anything. I wouldn't say that I even get angry about it. It just disappoints me that players are selling their own wickets so short. You don't see Australians do this. I mean, look at the way Usman Khawaja has been batting in this series. Cat, he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been playing. I don't want to use the term old-fashioned Test cricket. He's been playing Test cricket as we know it. Put it that way.
And so has been Stokes. I think it's really fabulous that Stokes is the one who's showing us the sensible way of batting. One of the interesting things about Kawaja is the way that he's been able to play in both of these innings and sort of soak up the balls at the top of the order. He's such a great opener for Australia. It's really fabulous to have him there doing that role. David Warner's been handy as well. He's been great, really. We didn't know what might have happened. He might have been out in single figures every single match in both innings, and because he said he's retiring, Australia would still have to pick him. But no, actually, he's been pretty good, and he's probably due for a big triple figure score at some point. Obviously not at the moment.
He's still struggling, I reckon.
If he gets triple figures over the whole series, I'll just about allow that. But if I have to watch a whole triple hundred of David Warner in England, mind you, that would be extraordinary, wouldn't it? He'd go from having no centuries to getting a triple century in England. That would be one way of burying what's gone
I
before.
don't think triple century is what I think I said triple figures.
Oh, sorry, triple figures. Sorry, I thought you meant triple century.
Figures I'm looking for here. I think, I agree with you. Triple century, my God.
But he has got a triple century, hasn't he?
Long odds on that bet.
He has got a triple century in Test cricket, as Warner, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, but it was pretty easy day at Adelaide.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, we're starting a little bit late today, about 5 minutes. There's been a little bit of rain, drizzle around. The covers have been on. And Tubby, Mark Taylor, is the man who's being allowed to ring. They're letting a lot of Australians ring the bell at Lords. What's going on here? I don't understand.
Maybe that's why Australia's doing so well. They need to rethink their strategy.
That's
there.
what has stopped them from
wasn't
ringing.
it KP on the first day?
Sorry? Was it KP?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it was KP.
They let him have a go, did they?
And it was Strauss yesterday. But, I mean, I think they've sold out. He's standing there in an MCC tie, so he's part of the English establishment.
Ah, right, okay. He wants to be English, really. That's what it is. A couple of people saying, if I were Anderson and Broad, I would retire at the end of this series. The batsmen are going to bat for only 70 or 80 overs and give their wickets away. I certainly don't think that Broad will retire. I mean, people tend to lump them together, and actually Broad is 3 or 4, almost 4 years younger than Jimmy, and I still think he's bowling well. Jimmy has been a little bit lackluster, I would say. I'm not quite sure why that is. And maybe he is coming to the end. We'll have to wait and see. But
And wasn't Bairstow keeping up to the stumps for Anderson? How often has that happened?
well, very rarely, but I think I guess that was more to do with the fact that, you know, the Australian batsmen were taking liberties with where they were standing and coming in for just for brief periods, just to remind them that they might occasionally have a wicketkeeper behind them. But I mean, that doesn't actually fill you with great confidence as an England supporter, knowing that he can't catch off spinners. So how's he going to catch standing up to the stumps off quicker bowlers?
Yeah.
Who knows? Very strange. Anyway, we're about to get underway. The sun is beginning to filter through, and just a reminder that England trail by 221. 221 is the lead for Australia. They still have 8 wickets in hand. They have, would you believe, Usman Khawaja on 50 plus, and they have Steve Smith at the wicket as well. So it could be another difficult morning. And now I should say we've got the special ponting wine of the day, which is the Shiraz, the Pinnacle. It's the Pinnacle being the Ashes itself. If you would like to taste some of that, go to our website. On the front page you'll find links to where you can go and get, with a special code, GC Ashes 2023, 15% off, which is a fantastic buy. At least the Australians are doing something for us, turning us all alcoholic, I suppose. That's what it is. Anyway, the
it's too late to turn some of you. You're already there.
well, I'm going to see if I can find. There is actually a tune for this particular wine. I'm going to play it.
Wow.
McLaren Vale shines clearly through. Sweet, soft, warm tannins for you. A palate rich with berry fruits. Black pepper, nutmeg and cloves. A big rich complexion. Finesse, texture and elegance. Ashes, the pinnacle.
There you go. Ashes, the Pinnacle. It is the Pinnacle. That's Jeff Perkins, one of our jinglers, getting very excited about Ponting's wine. And as I say, you can get it. Shut up, Jeff. Jeff,
Still going.
shut up, mate.
Oh my goodness, that'd turn anyone to drink.
They would. That's the idea. Anyway, the Australians are out in the middle, as are the English, and here are the jingles of the batsmen that matter.
Stop thinking, just stand still. Stop playing with yourself. Oh, it's very unsightly. Stop thinking, stop fiddling about. Stop playing with yourself. Oh dear. Stop thinking, you look a bit mental. Stop playing with yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Stop thinking, oh. Stop playing with yourself. You will go blind.
What overseas now plays for Australia. We fell in love with Usman Khawaja. What overseas now plays for Australia. We fell in love with Usman Khawaja.
130 for 2, opening the bowling this morning for England. I'm just waiting to find out who it is. Is it... did we go off in the middle of an over last night? I think perhaps we did. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Which means it is this man.
Oi, 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 oi,
Is in to Smith, and Smith turns that away. He's got 2 men catching on the leg side, but would you believe it? He's pierced both of them with just a little glance away. Ben Stokes is already on his front, shaking his head in disbelief and holding his hands in his head. It's already a terrible start for England.
Ben Stokes is on the ground, shaking his arms and legs like a toddler having a tantrum.
Yeah. I tell you what, he was having a tantrum on the first ball of the day.
exactly.
God knows what he'll be doing by about 2:30 this afternoon. If England don't manage to pick up a few wickets. I guess Australia are looking to bat till about tea. Here, get a 400 lead or so. Robinson in, bowls, a little bit of in swing, but as ever, Smith right in behind it, playing in that slightly French cricket way, up to mid-on. And there is no run. End of the over, 134 for 2. Messi, who said hello to us on Twitter this morning?
Leah says, morning everyone. No Annie today. I wonder where she is.
Who
Also,
knows?
yay, Cat. I can tell you Annie's really happy because she's guided Lords via the Oval where Somerset beat Surrey last night. So she'll be in a very good mood.
Yeah.
Morning all, says Warren. Good to have Hendo back. Eddie Bryan 15 says, loved the baseball chat the other day. I reckon that it will all be over today with the visitors going 2-0 up. Go well, all Gorillas. Warren just has a hashtag, where in the world is Annie? Farong says, greetings all, hope everyone's well and boosting their Pontingpard strike rates. Morning session has been the wicket-taking session for the past 2 days. Let's hope it isn't the case today and that the ODI squared mob are in the field deep into the third session. Cheers. I don't think Australia lasts more than half the afternoon session.
Really? Well, we shall see. I should say to those people inquiring about my whereabouts, I was always planning to have yesterday off. Basically, I can't do 5 days in a row, especially getting up that early. Jimmy Anderson's going to bowl. He's coming into Usman Kawaja. Oh, he swings that down the leg side. He can't make contact with it. And a tumbling Johnny Bairstow manages the take.
I saw a replay of the previous shot that was played by Smith. Field was in those in that area, so I don't think it was quite as close.
I'm probably going to have to ask you to say that all again, Kat, because you were
Didn't work.
You were talking over or under Jimmy's jingle. You obviously didn't
there
hear
was a
it.
jingle, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
it was.
Yeah, we can't hear the jingles that well.
No, I know. It's a problem with the Zoom. It's the same here. This comes off the pad and will be a leg by, ball trickling away down to long leg. 135 for 2. Australia lead by 226. Can you give us the gist of that again, Kat?
Oh, I was just saying that previous shot that Smith played that Stokes thought might have been a chance. It really bounced well ahead of those two fielders. So maybe not exactly where Smith intended it to go, but I think it was reasonably safe.
Yes, I think it was. I wonder whether Stokes was just saying, "Oh, here we go. I put 2 men behind square catching, and he still finds the gap." I thought it was a sort of, completely, blown by the amazingness of Smith to miss fielders. Anderson over the wicket to the right-handed Smith. He's got a leg slip, a long leg, a mid-wicket on the onside. He's in and bowls, and this one actually, if anything, is swinging away from Smith, who shovels it into the offside. And there is no run. The GPL is open. The GPL has gone up to £89 today. You can enter that by going to GorillaCricket.com. Competition, you'll find that across the top of the screen. And you pay us £1, estimate how many runs you think will be scored in total in the day. And if you get it on the nose, you get all that's in the pot. The more of you that take part, as Anderson is in, and it's whipped to mid-wicket by Smith. There is no run. If you get it on the nose, you get all the money. And of course, the more of you that enter, if hundreds of you were to enter today, that would put up the prize pot by £50. So we'd be up to £139 or something like that, if my arithmetic is correct. Yeah, rather more thoughtful Brendan McCullum sitting up there on the England balcony. He's not sort of tipping back in his chair as he was in the first test. Anderson into Smith, defended back to him, and there is no run. Yes, Messi?
Well, I think Baz has been in shock ever since Guerrilla Cricket revealed that he was second choice to Ponting.
Well, do you know, the thing is about that, I'm not 100% sure that Ponting was actually saying that, and it has been a little bit, I think, misappropriated, because my intro to the story originally, which I sent to the Times, I'll come back to that, is Anderson into Smith, who leaves it outside the off stump, was that he revealed he was in the frame. He was in the frame before Brendan got the job, and I don't know that he was actually saying he was the preferred candidate, but it has tended to have been, and this is the thing, isn't it? This is the thing about the press and the media. Things can get, subtly, altered, and I don't mind, as long as the story goes round and people mention Guerrilla Cricket, that's fine by me. Messi, anyway, tweets.
Ravina is giving me a ticking off. He says, Stokes batted sensibly and was out for 17. Message is, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, Ravi,
Well, I mean,
we both think that of each
Come
other
on,
from time to time.
Ravi. I mean, come on. You can still bat sensibly and get out. I mean, that's not, one does not, mean the other is impossible. But my feeling is that, if he was going to come in and bat like that, why didn't he tell Joe Root to bat like that? Because Joe Root being still there would have been quite handy. Robinson will continue into his 11th over, quite economical, but he needs a wicket or two outside the off stump, left by Usman Kawaja. He's only at 77 miles an hour, Robinson. People were talking about this. He got up into the 80s a bit last year, seemed to be fitter, but unless he's deliberately bowling this pace because he thinks it'll get him more movement, I don't know. Not 100% sure. Anyway, there are two men back on the fence behind square for Kawaja. Any short ball that should be delivered. Here is Robinson again into him, angled across him, left alone, a bit too wide, and good leaving judgment by Uzi, and there is no run.
Bharat Sundaresan said on Twitter, I think, or in one of the commentary, that England have bowled 40% more overs than Australia have, or the fast bowlers have, in the series so far. So Anderson and Broad and Robinson are all getting more tired than the Australian bowlers. It would have been great if England could have stayed in and just tired out the Australian bowlers a little bit more.
That's part of the art of Test cricket, isn't it? That's what I think people are missing, who are, nailed on adherence to so-called Bazball. They have defended into the offside. Yes, there's an excitement about that to a certain extent, but ruses that have been used for years and years, tried and trusted, are being thrown away, it seems to me, on the altar of Bazball. That said, of course, that I don't think that Brendan McCullum or Ben Stokes have really been enamoured with this notion, this label of Bazball. Defended by Kawaja, going onto his back foot, just drops the ball in front of him. So I think
I do have some. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say I have some news from Zimbabwe for you. Scotland have just dismissed the West Indies for 181.
Wow!
In the World Cup qualifiers.
You really fear for West Indies cricket, don't you? Did I see that? I thought I saw Mash, who's occasionally of this parish and runs the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I thought I saw him after they lost in the week. Was it they lost to, who was it they lost to? Netherlands. Defended, a bit of swing, but Kawaja lets it do its thing at 78 miles an hour and then just plays it comfortably into the offside. He was basically saying he was going to close down the podcast because I think he was just so distraught. I mean, we think about being distraught as English supporters, but how much do you feel if you're a West Indies fan? But cricket is creating those problems, isn't it, by not really supporting the sides that have financial troubles or are unable to fill their grounds for Test cricket.
Well, on the plus side, Netherlands and Scotland have both proven themselves to be serious contenders.
This swings down the leg side and is clipped on its way by Kawaja. He'll take a single. Matthew Potts, I think it is, down there doing the fielding. He moves to 59, Australia to 136 for 2.
Sorry, Kat, I stole your space. Mog says, in shocking news, there are 2 jingles for each of the wines ender. Tony Bishop says, if his hashtag for this is Rupert Brooke, if I should get out stupidly, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever Bazball. Jolly Ollie says, it's entertaining but frustrating. England has struggled with Bazball, lost 2 matches in third series. Well, they've lost what? Well, 2 of the last 3 tests, I suppose, but bigger picture than that.
Well, I suppose both of those were incredibly close, weren't they? So I mean, this if this goes the way it seems to be going, this would be the first absolute thumping as Jimmy Anderson comes round the wicket, looking to get the big in-swinger going. It starts, but then seems to hold its line. It's left well outside the off stump. Although, of course, England did go down to South Africa last year. There was a Test match in which it all went rather pear-shaped. And there were a couple of situations that they got out of that when it could have gone a lot worse. I think England have, just ridden their luck a little bit. Maybe he's made it look better than it is. Anderson in again, looking for the big in-swinger, but it's nothing out there for him. It just goes straight through to Bairstow, and there is no run. Smith has 10, Kawaja 59, Australia 136 for 2.
It doesn't really feel like England have the bowlers who could, start to bounce out the Australians. The alternate strategy couldn't be utilised by England. It feels like Kawaja and Smith would probably just, wait it out anyway. Not be so impatient.
Well, without
that was the strategy.
Yeah, unless Stokes is going to try it, and Stokes and Tongue together. You're right. Yeah. Anderson in bowls, lovely fluid drive from Kawaja. England, for some strange reason, have had their mid-offs very wide in this game, and that gives him the room to put that away up towards the nursery end for one of these.
I'm 4. Have you met me before?
And also, I mean,
That's a great jingle.
it is. I mean, I found what was going on Thursday evening just exceptionally ugly cricket. It was just horrible to watch. It was like baseball. They were playing like baseball players. And I thought, well, if you want to watch baseball, go and watch baseball.
It was fun for Australians to watch.
Oh, I bet it was, yes. Defended up to mid-off, broad fields, and the sun comes through again. And,
it was a bit little inconsiderate to be playing it when most Australians are asleep, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, well, that's probably why they did it. When we say about entertaining, we're trying to entertain ourselves, not you. We're not trying to entertain you Australians. For goodness sake. Although,
can I just say, as well, as far as entertaining goes, Usman Khawaja on that drive, he has been glorious. That's his 11th for this particular innings, and he's got most of his runs driving. Yeah,
that was an absolutely sumptuous shot, wasn't it? The next ball comes into him from outside the off stump, and he defends it solidly on the back foot. I wouldn't mind watching Kawaja all day. I mean, obviously, I'd prefer that Australia were out, but he is just a lovely batsman to watch once he gets his feet moving. And sometimes he doesn't even move his feet, he just plays nicely through the line. Anderson in to complete the over, bowls, getting a little bit of away movement, but nothing significant. Left alone again by the left-hander, 140 for 2 from 49 overs. The lead is 231. Messi.
There's something seductive about Kawaja's calmness too, isn't there?
Yes, absolutely.
Dave Wood says, I'm drinking the Steve Smith wine today. Unorthodox with porcine hints. Long-lasting, consistent with traces of eucalyptus. Pairs with anything in a baggy green, annoyingly. Diana Patterson's with us. Hello, Diana. She says, the jingles are especially loud in relation to human voices today. Since it's 4 a.m. here and warm, so the windows are open, I don't want those jingles awakening my neighbours who are probably expecting to be able to sleep on a Canada Day morning. Happy Canada Day, Diana.
Pushed into the offside by Smith, and he hurries through for a single as Broad has to move round to his left from mid-off. Smith moves to 11. Australia to 141 for 2. Nothing much to worry them so far this morning. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of swing, and if there is swing, it seems to be early. And also, the pace that England are bowling at, 77 miles an hour. You've got time to adjust on this pitch. Kawaja is on 63. Robinson is having a chat with Ben Stokes, and Marnus Labuschagne is off with George Bailey to have a net. He's a man who's not got a score so far in this test, really. It's interesting looking at those those two weird stands either side of the media centre. Down the leg side, tumbling Bairstow takes it, and there's just this little corner of yellow up from a distance, which presumably is the Fanatics. And I think, how far away can we get them from the pitch? That's obviously what the ground authorities have thought. Let's try and put them up right in the corner so that, they don't give us any jit. Anyway,
I bet they're near a bar.
Oh, possibly. That's possibly true. 3 slips, or 2 slips and a fine gully. Backward point, mid-on. Those are fielders that I can see. from that angle. Robinson in again, coming down the wicket now, Kawaja. And he plays it to mid-on, where Broad fields. Now, whoever was it you making that point, Messi, or was it Kat, about Kawaja's calmness? It's just in incredible contrast to England's fidgetiness, really, isn't it? And wanting to get after anything. He's just in his own little bubble. Obviously getting 100 and getting all those naysayers who say that he can't bat in England off his back a little bit will have helped his confidence. But you're absolutely right. He goes on to the back foot, hopping a little bit here. Plays it with the full face of the bat into the offside, and there is no run.
That was a slightly shorter pitch delivery, and it seemed quite quick, and Kawaja still seemed to have all the time in the world to play it, just defending that out into the off. So you're right, he does look unhurried and calm.
He really does. I guess a big 100 sort of calms your nerves, doesn't it? It would for me a little bit. Big
I wouldn't
100.
know.
No, or even a big 100 in any game actually would calm your nerves. Robinson, he's into his 12th over. He's not going for many runs, but he's not looking penetrative, as this is again played with the angle up to Stuart Broad, and there is again no run, and Kawaja just goes for a little stroll as if he was skipping merrily through a meadow on a fine summer's morning.
And that was a good delivery too from Robinson, but Kawaja just played it again with great calmness, and I'm not going to say I can see these two batting all day together, because one of them will immediately go out, and I don't want it to be Kawaja. So
no, I'd rather watch Kawaja than Smith, I have to say. Onto the back foot, turned around a little bit perhaps by that one. He just jabs it into the offside, possibly more by lack of pace than pace itself. It's the end of the over, a maiden, I believe. 100. No, there was just one run, wasn't there? 141 for 2. The lead is 232. Messi.
Mark Cook says, the gentle tones of Hendo. But hashtag where is Annie? Josie Oak says, what a shit show. Is this where they call Brearley back as captain?
Oh.
Well, Stokes is a bit like Brearley because he's so cropped that he's there as captain most of all, isn't he?
It does seem to be.
Dan Keevy says, has Kawaja now faced more balls in the Ashes than most batters do after 5 tests? I'd say probably yes. I think it was 711 at the start of today. Leah says, I think my podcast is building a bit of momentum. I start to get comments that thank me for doing German cricket content on YouTube. There you go. Wow. They're everywhere.
Anderson into Smith. Smith onto the front foot, defends up to the wide mid-off, and there is no run. Now, Ian H., I've just seen your contribution on YouTube. Can I just flag the GBL tickets I purchased yesterday? Haven't shown up on my account. I've just emailed the details, so great if you can take a look. Thanks. Messi, can you handle that?
No, I can't. I can't get in the back end. I have to get Bear to do mine.
All right, well,
because PayPal plays up for me as well.
Okay, that's annoying. We'll try and sort that at lunchtime if we possibly can, which may mean you're out of the game today. Anderson in, fluent drive from Smith. Doesn't matter that there's 3 in the offside. That's gone past extra cover, out towards the man stand for one of these.
Just four.
I'd say just 4. It was a very glorious 4. It was I've hated Steve Smith's batting for so long that I've almost come round myself and begun to quite like it. That was a lovely shot. It really was.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful cricket shot. Nothing fidgety about it. Just a regulation cover drive.
Yeah. And at the same time, I think it's just the fact that I understand now that he just plays everything late. That's what it is. That's how he does it. He's got so much time to get in behind the ball, hasn't he? Anderson's supposedly bowling at 85 miles an hour there, but it didn't look it. It's defended back up the pitch to him. 145 for 2.
It seems a long way off, but we need to talk about Ollie Pope as well and his injury, because he had... he could be batting later on today. You never know. I think he's still going to bat at 3, even though he isn't fielding, is he, at the moment?
He doesn't appear to be, does he? It's
no, well,
weird.
he was injured again yesterday, which allowed him to go off.
Oh, another half volley from Jimmy Anderson is stroked through mid-off. I don't understand why the mid-offs are so wide in this game. It makes no sense to me. Benjamin, what the hell are you doing? It's another of these.
I'm 4. Have you met me before?
I mean, it's just fodder at the moment, isn't it? It's just fodder.
Yeah, it was very easy for him to pick that gap, as you said, with that straight area. Then the V is just completely vacant.
I don't understand. The mid-off was so wide. Outside the off-stump, he plays backward a square, and a man at backward point jumps right over the ball, doesn't get his body behind the ball, and that has run away for another of these.
Just four.
So Jimmy Anderson, he's not even economical now. He's gone for 3 fours in this over. Get him off. I mean, I think this could be the end of Jimmy Anderson. I really do. He doesn't seem to be greatly interested. He's not getting the ball to do anything very much. I know the pitch at Edgbaston was not to his liking. There's been more for him here, but he just doesn't seem to be on top of his game at all, or anywhere near it, to be honest.
Fair enough for him to be fairly tired. He's a very old man.
He's a very old man. Defended off the back foot by Smith.
What does that make me?
Decrepit. That makes you decrepit. Old. I mean, I don't think there is
that's
a
true, actually.
I don't think there is a synonym
fair.
for your age.
3 fours
fair
off the
call.
over?
3 fours off the over. 23 to Smith. Australia, 150 came up, 153 for 2. It's going to be a long day. And in fact, this game is not really going to take off again till England bat. It's just a case of how many Australia want, really, because it doesn't look like England have got any penetration to get wickets. Both these bowlers this morning are 77 to 83 miles an hour. Plenty of time for the batsman.
Brooke hasn't bowled yet. You never know.
Oh, there is that, I suppose.
Umbre Nuevo says, morning, wonderful GC. Jonathan Shawland says, good evening from New Zealand. It's a momentous day here because the defunct subscription sports channel has relinquished its rights to the series to a national broadcaster from now on. That's excellent for you. Brilliant.
Robinson starts his 13th over. He attempts to bowl a bouncer. Doesn't really get up. Kawaja pulls out of the shot. He was thinking about pulling it. There is a man back in front of square on the boundary, also a long leg. But it's by no means a short ball strategy from England at the moment, just the odd one. England just look absolutely devoid of energy again, which is worrying. Robinson in, bowls short again, and plenty of time for Kawaja to just sway out of the way of that one. And score
I think I want Ben Stokes to bowl. I think Stokes needs to pull himself on.
Well, yeah, I mean, how many overs has he bowled in this Test match? 3, was it? Or did he bowl a second spell the other day? Was it 3 overs for 21? He didn't seem to enjoy that very much.
Well, we'll blame Cat if his legs fall off.
Yes.
The knee. It's the knee that'll go first, isn't it? The knee will just fall out of its bracket or something, and he'll be lying on the ground, gnashing and wailing. 2 slips. Stokes is at extra cover. There's a backward point, mid-off, mid-on. A man halfway at backward square leg and also a long leg. In comes Ollie. Looks for the Yorker. It was the bluff. And he's dug it out quite well. The ball trickles past Robinson and up to mid-off. The lead now 244. Australia will want, I would think. I mean, they don't have to give England a total, do they? They don't really have to say England have a go at this because they're 1-0 up in the series. Although
and a bowler down.
And a bowler down. So they've not really got to make the pace in this game. Although they may consider that this is a really good opportunity to go 2-0 up and they don't want to miss it. Robinson in again, bowls a little bit quicker, onto the back foot. Goes Kawaja, plays out into the offside where Stokes fields. Kawaja 63, Smith 23, 153 for 2. It's already beginning to feel like a long day for England.
Ben Stokes in the first innings, 3 overs, 1 maiden, I don't know how. Figures a none for 21 in that with 3 no balls. So that's an eventful 3 overs, right?
Absolutely. It's strange.
He's here to entertain you. That's what he says.
Robinson in again. Well, he's not entertaining me much at the moment. Dropped short and left alone again. I don't know. I don't quite know what to make of it. But again, there's a real lack of...
That's a lot of attempted short pitch bowling now from Robinson. I feel like Pat Cummins might be giving him his instructions.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pat Cummins bowls about 10 miles an hour quicker than him. And it's really quite easy to get out of the way of an Ollie Robinson bouncer. This is the wrong person to be trying to do this particular thing, I think. Robinson in again. Slight inside edge as Kawaja plays off the back foot. Into the onside. Plenty of room there for a single. They take it. Kawaja keeps the strike. Australia 154 for 2. And I will just play a bit of marketing. And then your next ball-by-baller will be Andy Ward.
Alternative cricket commentary, bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are gorillas. We need your patreon.com/gorilla cricket.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Al, and good morning, Russ. Hello. How are you all doing?
Morning.
Going to be a change on the field to go with the change of commentary team. It's going to be the man, I think, probably England's best bowler in this match so far. It's this man.
Tongue love, Josh Tongue. Let's get together and lick 'em right.
However, his field appears to be spread far and wide. I can't see anyone around the bat at all. No slips, no catches. Kawaja.
Disappointing. I agree that he's been the best bowler in this match for England.
He's down the leg side. Bairstow picks it up and has to wang it off to someone because there's no one next to him. So what have you made of... who's on what here? Who is on what?
I'm your social media person.
You're a social media person, so I'll ask Russ, what have you made of the first half hour?
I think it's been a bit flat, which is very strange
Hendo
because all of the talk in the lead-up was how important this was for England to get early inroads, and it seems they're just kind of going through the motions a little.
Tongue is short. Kawaja is comfortably underneath it, given he's half crouched down to start with, and it goes through to Bairstow for no run. Australian lead is 245, and with the weather I think set reasonably fair for the next 2 days, they'll be fancying their chances. And two of Australia's more adhesive batsmen at the wicket, possibly their most adhesive, Kawaja and Smith. Down the leg side, not as short, but Kawaja lets it go. Could be a long day for England, guys.
It did keep low. It's interesting. They're playing that field for a hook shot to Kawaja, and I don't really think he's the sort of player who's going to get enthused by a bunch of short pitch bowling and try and play hook shots. So it seems a bit strange to me the way England have set up.
Yes, I'd like to have a look at the overall field. Tongue is short without bowling a bouncer, and Kawaja is able to hop up and play it back down the wicket off the back foot.
Kawaja's, you want to try and restrict mid-off to cover. That would be kind of the first thing that I try to kind of.
And I think it's a square leg and a mid-wicket to try and restrict that little dab off his pads that he works to.
Yeah.
Tongue is back over the wicket. It's short. Kawaja ducks under it. There's no run.
Yeah, but if you start with those two things, then, but to turn around and to this seems, we've gone past double bluff, haven't we, to like triple bluff and quadruple bluff,
which goes all the way back to zero bluff in the end.
He scored 21 runs between either just behind square or through mid-wicket, Kawaja.
Had an opportunity there, was down the leg side from Tongue over the wicket, but Kawaja again just ducks under it. Probably the most patient batsman on both sides. I don't think you can tempt him into anything rash. Over to Twitter for some crazy comments.
Right, okay, we've got a bit of catching up to do. Warren, now I remember who Matthew Potts reminds me of, and there's a picture that compares him to someone from the dueling banjo scene from Deliverance. Ravi Nair, Stokes 58 balls, 17 runs, Crawley 48 balls, 48 runs, Pope 63 balls, 42 runs, Bairstow 16 balls, 16 runs. If the ball has your name on it, it's better for England if you score as much as possible before it arrives.
Yep.
Farong, if ODI squared minus B ball backfires, revert back to body line. 2020's cricket replaced by 1930s method. And Leah, that dude was apparently an inbred redneck, apparently according to the person from Deliverance. And we'll intersperse some others as we kind of go along.
Robinson's going to continue to Smith. He at least has a gully. Smith, as has been quite common over the last 2 days, had a little bit of an issue with someone behind the bowler's arm, I think. As Robinson does come in round the wicket, bounce to Smith. It's above Bairstow's head, and it's two different worlds watching Australia play this and the way England dealt with this on Thursday night. I say dealt with.
Yeah. Well, it's the difference in patience, isn't it? Australia says, well, all right, there's lots of gaps here, and eventually you have to bowl one that I can push into a gap, and I'll take the singles, because from their perspective, they can bat 2 sessions, even if they only scored 140 of those 2 sessions, that's good enough to declare T.
Well, I might take you up on that. Bounced again from Robinson.
It's 81 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, that Robinson and Anderson really just aren't suited to doing this at all.
Okay, I have a question. Is it the strategy that's wrong and the planning of that strategy, or is it that England haven't selected the players in order to be able to execute the plan? Because short pitch bowling's fine if you're going to have Mark Wood in the team bowling 6-7 miles an hour quicker than this.
Yeah, well, they weren't picked to do this, really. Pulled that time by Smith. Square leg's got a hand on it, I think. Yes, he must have done. And it dribbles out to backward square leg for a single. A fit Ben Stokes can do it, but he's a long way from fit, bowling-wise.
Well, if he can't bowl, then he can't.
No.
You know, it's...
I mean, it's one and the same, isn't it? No, you have to match your strategy to the personnel you've got available to you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
this is not your plan A as a bowling unit. It's something... What I found disappointing about the way England played on Thursday was that they seemed totally surprised by it, when it happens quite a lot in Test cricket, and England, as we see now, do it themselves quite a lot. So I was surprised they didn't really have a plan for it. Kawaja with a slightly awkward hook shot to backward square. Duckett picks it up and there's no run, but he was in control and along the ground at least.
But you're absolutely right that you match the plan and the plays together. But it seems absolutely apparent that with regards to the last 8 days of Test cricket, that's not been the case.
Comes Robinson again. Attack's just too samey for me. Ducks under it. Kawaja has no run.
Although Kawaja is making it all look very uncomfortable.
A little bit, but he doesn't look in any danger of getting out.
Well, no, because he's not put his bat anywhere near the ball. It just looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was interesting that both Smith and Kawaja have actually attempted to pull in this over a hook shot. So, you know, there's at least some level of risk they're willing to take on to keep the score moving. But should England just be trying to bowl dry?
I think that's what they were trying to do in their way. Do you mean by a bit more like that, the top of off? That last ball was top of off and played into the offside for no run, sorry.
More like what they did at Edgbaston, where you perhaps do some ring fields. I mean, it's a faster pitch than Edgbaston, but it's still pretty dead.
Yeah, it's a problem. I think there's been a lot of focus on England's batting in this series. I think the bowling is at least as much of an issue.
With this bowling attack bowling this way, they can't win a Test match.
No, never take 20 wickets, no. Robinson's in again, short again, Kawaja's under it again. That's the end of the over. 156 for 2. Twitter.
David Stump, did Hendo say he played with or against Duckett's dad a while ago? Wasn't any good. We'll ask that. We'll circle back to that with Hendo next time he's on. Dave Wood, I can see these two batting all series together. Got to be worth a try. GC Naked Fun Hornblock, Messages. Can't get it in the back end. Quadia, Dan Peavy. Jimmy is also competing against the dead pitch. We'd hate to see him go out on such a low. Well, he's going to have to go out sometime. Father Time is undefeated.
He's 41 next month.
There comes a point where either he has to say it or somebody has to say it for him, but enough.
It should always be the latter. We've seen players in various countries dictate their own retirement, and it's not healthy. Tendulkar. Smith taps that one into the leg side. Anderson himself picks it up at mid-wicket, and there's no run.
And Cook. And yeah.
Ponting and Afton, just because they're on the screen. Did
Yes.
Ponting do that? Afton probably didn't. Australia actually ran into quite a problem when all their players retired after, because they had to get back for 2005. So they all hung on for 6-7, then they all retired at once. And it set Australia cricket about 5 years, but you know they got their cut back, so yay. That one is played down by Smith to Crawley at long leg, and they'll pick up a single.
Ponting, I think, would have retired earlier than he did if he felt that there was someone who could replace him. But I think he probably played longer than he would have preferred, and maybe that he should have. But I don't think there was a better option.
Possibly not. He had a shot of the break of Clive Lloyd talking to Jeffrey Archer. He must be longing to be back in the car with the bear. Sorry if I'm making an in-joke. The Bear and Clive Lloyd spent a lot of time trolling around England during the World Cup. That one is helped down to long leg by Kawaja. Rayan Ahmed is on the field, probably for Pope and his combustible shoulder.
Well, it's combustible shoulders now, isn't it? Because it was a different shoulder to his ordinarily bum shoulder.
Was it really? I thought that was quite generous to rule that as an external injury. It's obviously one that he was already carrying.
Well, unless you do fitness checks before him.
Helped around by Smith to Duckett, who's 2/3 of the way back at backward square leg, obviously looking for some kind of catch, but he's not batting. That's where he was hitting all of them. Albeit totally mirror image. Australia lead is up to 250. One point I was going to make is Australia might be slightly less keen to make an aggressive declaration against this England team, who have shown they can pull off some remarkable chases. It would be doubly remarkable if they chase down 400 plus in this match. Tongue again. Kawaja angles out of the way, but it only really goes past his waist, and Tongue's England's quickest bowler.